take it back on the point, right? I was listening to your podcast this week or last week, I forget what one it was, and you were talking about the same kind of thing you were saying there about special cards and all that kind of thing, right? And see, what I was thinking is, in my limited experience of like tangible cards, not like football ones, but like Pokemon or Magic or different other things.
Yeah.
Pokemon in particular, right? Back in the day, and you'll remember this, there was cards that came, Pokemon cards that came in Happy Meals that on the playground you could not get moved for love nor money. They were dog shit. They came in a Happy Meal. Nobody wanted it. There's nothing special about it. But see, right now, if you were to jump on eBay and get like McDonald's fucking 2002 Happy Meal Pikachu, and he's got some stupid thing on him, it's like £500 or, I don't know the going rate of it is, but
I've got the whole set, mate.
Oh, do you? Oh, I don't know the value of them, but you know what I mean?
I just found them, but I think it was Cineworld or something like that. It's like Odeon versions of them all, and one of those Charizards. So I need to go and get them minted. But yeah, I found the wee collector's book the other day there.
Fantastic, man. Well done. But even like, so see, like the Cineworld and the McDonald's, see when those things were new editions, nobody gave a fuck about them. Yeah, you would literally like use one to spark a fag if you could, like, or start a fire for like, whatever. They were not that you smoked when you've had these things, of course, but my point is with that is, see some of the special editions we've had so far, like even the ones you get at the special weekly, but it's like the kind of purple and blue flecks that go through the card or whatever. They get listed in the secondary market for a premium at the moment, right? There's no two ways about it. They do.
Crazy prices, yeah.
But no one gives a fuck about them right now, really. No one really buys them. I don't see anyone buying one and getting, maybe two people, and it might be like a Joe David or an actual really good card or whatever. And even some of the Team of the Year ones, nobody really gives that much of a fuck about them with. But like you're saying, like 10 years from now, that was like the first time ever SoRare have done special edition cards. So what season are we in now? 20 to 21. So 20 to 21 special edition, special weekly issues. That could be a thing, like quite easily, the same way as like these Cineworld ones and Pokemon ones.
What if Leo don't win the league for another 25 years?
Yep. I'm totally with you.
PSG just dominate, and then you've got, for Leo collectors like Zura and Velouz, who picked up a lot of those champion Leo cards. They've got this item, and how many other Leo fans are going to want that? And you get that for, I don't think Bayern are not going to win another title for 25 years, but you know what I mean.
No, I'm with you, man, all the way. Because like, see, it must have been the week before they done those special editions. I bought Felix from this year the day after Atletico won the league, right? And I said to people in chats and that, wherever I was like, I'm after the Holy Trinity of wonder kids that have won the league this year that might not do it with that club anymore, or well, actually, forget that last little bit, right? I was saying I want to buy an in-season Botman, I want to buy an in-season Musiala, and I want to buy an in-season Felix, and I got the Felix Rapid. And it's because they'd all won titles and they're probably going to have really good careers. Felix might move on from Atletico, and having won the league at Atletico is probably going to be a big honour in his career. I would, it's not going to be the biggest thing, but it will be a thing, And same with Botman, he'll move on, and winning the league with Lille will be one of these things that's always in his ticker tape, in terms of the stuff he's won, because winning the league with Lille is a big deal, And then when they brought those champion edition cards out, I was really happy because they were fucking beautiful, and also kind of then holds that same vibe I had about these cards. So I was having chats with people, and some people like, nah, I don't know if people would really care about that. And I'm thinking, well, I think I would, and I think if I would, other people would, in terms of having them from the season they won it, I think that's a pretty big deal, So it's a great innovation, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope it is. I'm sure it will be an annual occurrence. But when you do get these, like, do you remember like 8 years ago when Giroud was there, Montpellier won the league? Imagine Montpellier were licensed. When are they going to win League One again?
Yeah, exactly. That would be special for their fans, wouldn't it?
Big time. These things happen in football, and as time goes on, there might even be cup winners, St Etienne won a cup, because I don't know if you know this, right? But see, on the history books, St Etienne is like the first or second most successful club in France, like domestically, but they've not won anything in like 30 years. But they dominated, like, anyway, I'm telling you stuff that's not important. But if it's St Etienne, like next year, if they won the cup, and that was maybe like the first time they won the cup, and like Donkeys, they're a licensed team, maybe they do the same thing, but it's for like French Cup winning, and then rather than saying champion with a wee gold one, maybe it's a wee silver one, and it's like cup winners or something.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
and again, these things are class.
And by only making one of them, within the 100, it makes it, it makes it unique. But it's doable. You can do a couple of these. You can have one, a champion card. You could have a cup winning card without diluting the main product too much, but giving this enhanced version out there within a very small, small amount of them. There's only going to be, we only have 100 of the rares, and you only get a handful of these special cards over time. And in 5-10 years, who knows how many users we have and how many cards are actually in circulation. These are going to be seen as more special to some people, whether or not they don't have any more utility, but they're definitely going to. They do. And
there's definitely a sentimental attachment to it. And again, some people will buy them not for their own sentimental, but knowing someone else will have it, and it's a case of just wait for somebody to knock my door, because that will happen.
That's it. And at least Rangers weren't on, and we didn't have Rangers champion cards because.
Aye.
Less said about that, the
better. The other thing I had on my wee kind of like prompt board, if you like, to have a chat with about is something that we both know has been kind of the front of like the Twitter community. Or I kind of promised myself I was going to stop referencing the Twitter community as a thing, right, rather than just the community, because it is the community. Whether you're on Twitter or on Discord, we're all playing the same game. Has been like today we had an announcement, right, that under 23s and global unique will only open if there's certain stipulations now, rather than it just being kind of the way it was previously, where it was a wee bit more just it's open if you've got a card, try and enter it and see what you can do, kind of thing. That should make some people in the community happy. They were quite outraged, I suppose, for lack of a better term, that there was a free ETH payout for one of 4 people who entered it like a week ago or so. I kind of spoke about it in the stream, and I'm kind of like, if you've got the price of admission, then fair enough. But seeing that today, it really did fill my heart with warmth, because I'm like, surely some people now will see that they are doing. I said this in DMs with somebody, so I want to get your take as well. Sorry, Heidi, I'm just kind of setting you up here, like to tee off with me. But I said to somebody in DMs yesterday, I was like, I totally believe unequivocally that SoRare will make every decision in the interest of as many people as possible. And I don't think that will ever change, and I think that's where I'll always be.
Were I to invoke logic, logic clearly dictates that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Or the one.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
That's the changes today. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I see. I don't think that they're going to do anything to prioritize a small section of users within the platform, no matter how deep those users' wallets are, because they're smart guys. They know that this platform only exists if we're all using it, and it's growing, and more people are coming on board, and we're able to keep bringing on new users to grow this platform, to be able to onboard new clubs, and to be able to grow this out to the platform we all know it can be. So I think they won't always get the decisions right, and I think as it grows and as they tweak things, some things will need rebalanced. But I think the spirit of what they do is fair. They are trying to, as you said, balance the needs of the many over the needs of the few. Absolutely. So if something isn't quite right, I think how we express dissatisfaction and get that back to the team is the way to go. Rather than have these, bitching fests on Twitter or whatever social media platform, use the feedback forms. Go to Dan, go to the team on Discord, use the feedback channel. Type up a Word document with all your notes if it's quite a detailed thing. If you're passionate about this and you want to see something, you think something's not quite right, then put that across. Put it across in the right way, not this is harming me, this is bad for me, blah, blah, blah. Put a logical point of, this doesn't seem like it's balanced right. I've noticed that there's maybe too much of a payment going to these divisions at the expense of these divisions where we've got more users actively involved this game week. Is this something you could look at? And that kind of conversation is going to go down quite well with these guys. I've had lots of conversations with them. We've had them on Dan on the pod recently. They're good guys. They want to help out. They want to take it forward, don't they? So like, if we talk about these things are not perfect, and as it grows, there's going to be pains because you can't introduce the final product now when we don't have everything else there. So we don't have the app, we don't have all the clubs, we don't have all the users that are eventually going to be on the platform, we don't have the L2 ETH scaling solutions. There's lots of things that need to come as part of a journey, and I see that as a roadmap over the next couple of years, that we'll see that. And along the way, this game will change massively. That we might have a new scarcity, we might see another 2 to 4 divisions, whatever that may be, to allow sort of more progression within the common to rare, or and up to super rare. So there's so much that will happen, and I think for me it's all aiming to go to a real positive goal. How we get there is largely, like, how positive that can be is largely up to the community and how we focus our energies. We all want this to be a success. We all want to enjoy this and to use this. That's clear. You see that from the passion. The frustration only comes from people who are passionate about this product and want it to do well. Yeah, there might be a couple who are really negative and don't and want to see something fail. That's natural in any walk of life. You're always going to get that. But most people want this to do well, want it to succeed. So let's make it succeed. Let's try to help each other out, engage with each other. If you think there's a problem with small accounts or with whale accounts or with Scottish accounts like me and Quinny, because we're probably the biggest problem, aren't we? The Scottish contingent, but yeah,
Scottish Twitter rules the world.
That's it. It's a crazy wee North Island part of the island we live on, but. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is just we can make this better by communicating better rather than getting into the spats on Twitter and the spats on Discord. They're quite draining. They don't help us get it forward. They put other new users off. They put existing users off. You see managers who have maybe joined in the last couple of months asking what all this noise is about, not quite understanding it, not involved in it, and it makes them nervous. And that's not to say we don't talk about issues. That's not what I want to say at all. We do talk about issues, but just in the right way. Be civilized with each other, stop abusing each other, and that goes for the stock. Like, I think sometimes it's easy for me to get involved and step into things. It is, isn't it? But sometimes just take a step back from these social media platforms and go out and enjoy the sunshine.
I think, like I said there, but is pretty spot on. But it's about being proportionate and understand, And again, like for people who are kind of relatively new, and I say that it's really hard to gauge what is relatively new at this point, right? But anyone who's, I'd say definitely anyone who's only been here since the year 2021, right? Two things. Number one, until see the AMA that just happened, the one before that, Hybe, I've not checked this out, right? So I might be wrong, but I'm quite sure not the AMA just had, but the one before. A lot of the times, a lot of the questions and a lot of the references that Nick and Dan and the guys gave us referred to SO5, referred to the game, the platform, everything as beta phase. Like we're still in the beta. We've not done this yet. We're still trying to, because not in this MA, but the last one, there's questions about things like, you'll remember this, SO7, SO11, and they're very much like, listen, we are like in beta phase. We are still like trying to sort a lot of things out, And if you've only joined since the turn of the year, you won't, number one, have had that feel because it's been such a vibrant market, and it's been growing and growing and growing. And the guys haven't really used that wording anymore, so I don't really feel that wording's appropriate since everything that's kind of happened this year, because it's hard to see the companies in beta phase when it's turning over the money that it is. But that aside, like you said, there's still not even an app, like something as simple as that. I say simple as that in the grand scheme of things. I'm sure the way that they want it to operate and how it's going to take a lot of time and effort and energy, and I'm sure they'll be quite perfectionist around it. But a lot of people won't have that feel because they've just joined in, they've just came along, it's all with rockets and we're off to the moon and all that. And the second thing I would say on that as well, before I kind of bring you on your thoughts, is I'm sorry for saying that, but I'm just really bad for talking too much. So I'm kind of letting you know that I'm not going to talk all day. But a lot of people will have came over to the platform, let's say between January and March, kind of running out of a burning house. you know. And when that is the kind of scenario where it's like I'm running from, well, not running, you know, but I'm leaving one bad situation and moving into something different, you've got, most human beings will have baggage. And as well with, and again, I'm only talking from my own experience, right? When I used to like gamble a lot online, but if in my William Hill account, if I know, fuck, when I lost £800 at the weekend, I'm going back many years, right? Fuck, I've lost £800. And then I think, right, you know what? I'll go into Bet365 account. I'll use his free bets for the Champions League and I'll win that £800 back. I'll do that in the next month and I'll be square. That never ends well. That never goes well. That never pays off. It never goes to plan. And what happens at the end of that month is you look back and you go, right, fuck, well, 2 months ago I lost £800. And then trying to win the £800 back, I've actually lost another 900 quid or something. Now, this month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get £1,700 out of the bookie because I'm so smart and I know what I'm doing, and then everything will be all good again. And then you can probably imagine how that cycle pans out. My personal experience, that's all I'm saying. But that kind of chasing your losses mentality doesn't go very far, and it doesn't tend to lead down a successful path a lot of the time. Would you agree?
Definitely, and I think what a couple of points you touched on there make a lot of sense in what we're seeing. So you mentioned earlier about seeing maybe a bit of a depression in the market and it being lower ebb than it has been recently, and I think some of that probably coincides with that sort of user segment that came over in the last few months, who potentially came in with a different mindset to this platform than all of the user base. So we have people come in for a collectibles element, people who have been drawn in from the crypto side, people who have came in purely for the fantasy football side and are really detailed into that, and those the mix of it, all of those. Then you got these football index accounts in the main who have came over looking at more of a trading game. And so we saw a lot of activity. The market was on fire. There's people flipping over players left, right, and centre, owning players for less than a day and moving them on. The market was really fluid. I think some of that sentiment, and as that's drawn back a little bit, that trading activity has stopped from those types of players. Those players have maybe not grasped that it's not just about the short-term trading, and there is an SO5 element to it, and there is a main component of the game is actually competing and being able to use those cards. So there's people maybe got caught in that limbo mode of trying to trade and buy, have not necessarily built the collections that allow them to compete, and now trying to sell off and swap them into players that can compete. We're seeing multiple people all doing that at the same time, and then the prices of some of those lesser desired players suppressing, and that goes through the market, doesn't it?
Totally.
And that's just, yeah. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more going on. Obviously, we have seen major movements in ETH price. A lot of people on the platform are fairly new to crypto, and just in general, even if you're not new to crypto, I think any major movement in price can create a nervousness. Obviously, we've had leaks coming to an end. There's all sorts of dynamics that are changing people's spending behaviour. But when I look at card prices going through the market, they're still through the ticker. They're still extremely high. There's still, there's bargains to be had, like some of those super rares that you've been picking up recently, as you know. But you look at any young, sort of hyped up youth player, they're still going for hundreds of pounds, aren't they, as a rare card? So I think that the market is still very healthy. I think it's just adjusted.
Yeah. And the market as well can't always be on the up, and it can't always be peak prices every day of the week, and again, it's maybe a wee bit of a sober realization, the dust is kind of settling a little bit. ETH isn't going up to £5,000 British or 10,000, it's kind of, ETH itself is calmed a bit. The market is taking a wee bit of and it's obviously not for anyone's design or anything, but it's just, it has kind of calmed down a bit, and normality's kind of kicked back in a little bit. And, but no, so sorry, I'm quite bad for something that's just going on mad random rants and tangents, whatever. But I think you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. Just another point on that is,
I
think sometimes you have to think as well. Like you maybe buy a player for, say, 1 ETH. You don't necessarily need to turn that player around and sell him for 1.5 ETH. that player's coming into your collection to actually return you a value. So maybe in the short term, you can only sell them for 0.75. Maybe that's all you're going to get the next week. But why did you buy them for 1 ETH? It's not to sell them for 0.75. It's to use them and to try and get more cards and more rewards off the back of that. So, yeah, there's sometimes if you look at it too short term, fluctuation in player prices, it doesn't really matter. If you're looking at SoRare data and the value of your account every day, that's not healthy.
No.
Build your team. Do you know, it's not necessarily about that. It's about building up the teams and enjoying the game.
Completely. So what I'm looking forward to with the next kind of, I don't know, like, do you know, you made me a wee bit sad earlier on, Hybe. You said you'd been on the platform 10 or 11 months, and I thought, I know that's not true. Your account is over 12 months old now, Hybe.
It is, I know. I said that. The other day there, I realised that I had missed my 1 year anniversary. I should have been doing some kind of update tweet and celebrating it all, but
Never too late.
It's never too late. It's like I've missed the girlfriend's birthday or something here.
It
I'm in
is.
trouble. Yeah.
Mine's is in 12 days. I've made a dedicated Twitter account for mine. You know, I don't know if you've seen it.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've got a dedicated Twitter account for my club, FC Barcelona.
Oh yeah, no. I thought you meant for the 1 year anniversary.
Oh, have you? No, that'd be a bit far. I don't know how that would even work, but who knows? But so I'll be doing something. I'll be doing something for mine probably. But I thought when you said that earlier on, and then I checked it. It's like, hey, but you should know this shit, man. You've been here for. So I'm thinking I've almost been here a year. How can you be less? Because you know you referred me. You know you're my man.
I'm all over the place, mate. I don't know what day it is.
But it has been like a mad year. You know, like me and you were chatting earlier, and we're talking about February was actually like in the real world of the world. February was not that long ago, but in the SoRare world, it does feel like so long ago now. Like because so much has happened in such a short. It's been such a time in SoRare now, and just the internet time. We were kind of chatting about this. I'm not sure if we were on record or not, but just with lockdowns and everything that's been going on the last year and a half or whatever it's been, I've actually lost track now. But time on the internet, especially, it does feel like heavy. You know, like heavy time. It's not like, you know, time flies when you're having fun. That's very true. And the game weeks go thick and fast. But like then now, when there's not game weeks to come thick and fast, it's like I looked at some of those super rares when we were chatting earlier, and I was like, fucking hell, was that only 2 days ago? It feels like last week I bought that.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's just dead heavy, and I know the real word is probably slow, right? But that's just the way it's like heavy. It's the dense time. You know, it's really you're trudging through it. You're waiting for that game week to come back, and then I was saying this to you again before we started recording, but I'm fucking see whoever was angry that Asia round 2 was getting scored on SO5 and fucking complained about it. I am upset at you, whoever did that, because of you. I no longer have a goalkeeper for this game week. I should have Korea playing fucking Turkmenistan or whoever the fuck they're playing, and my boy should be picking up a clean sheet for nothing. But now I can't because someone didn't want cards to play more matches. So thank you very much, whoever that was.
So rather than a whale getting hit, it's Quinny.
It's poor Quinny, poor wee Quinny, who's only
He's
got. Wait, I've only got 140 cards. It's not as if I'm a big
exactly. Well, it's not many, is it? You need more.
Well, do you know, as I was saying to you earlier in the pot, and again, I'm pretty sure we were recording at this stage, but I bought a Matt Turner rare, the goalkeeper in America. But beyond that, I'm kind of looking, there's not that many rares I'm kind of excited at. And then when I had this thought, recording with you and a little bit earlier today as well, I was like, how many super rares have I actually got now? I've got 26. I can't believe it. Out of 147 cards. I don't know what the ratio is of that. But it's not bad, eh?
Yeah.
You know? So I think my gallery's almost at that point. In my kind of strategy, you'll hear this in our content that will come out after we've recorded this, but like D2, Hybe, see when all the European cards go back in season, we get new season Bayern, we get new season PSG, Real, Liverpool, yada yada, whoever else comes in between. It's going to be pandemonium for those super rares when when those reward pools are full and there's 5 available for any player and it's all on the RNG and who's been won and who's been spun, all that kind of thing. The beginning of the new European season is going to be the payoff for the buys I'm making now, in my mind anyway. That's my thoughts when I'm buying these cards. I'm thinking about killing D2 when those reward pools are brand new, bulging, feeling nice, shiny new season cards. That's my
exactly. It's almost like we're getting the dregs at the moment, isn't it? And then
completely.
as those new season cards come out, you've got loads of super rares that are going to be very well sought after. And if you've done your research and built your teams up ahead of that, ready for those game weeks, then you're going to be a happy man. I need to step up my game and get a few.
Well, the velocity of super rares now, I'm thinking it's a big part of the reason the pricing has been what it is, because again, when I go into new signings and I just, there's 93 super rares on auction now. And I think we're maybe about halfway through a cycle, because they tend to just load a bunch up, don't they? And let it run for like a week or 10 days or whatever it is. So still like 90 odd going, and they're all shapes and sizes, all budgets, all kind of statuses of in the team, out the team, whatever. I've just seen a guy at Racing who I cannot believe. If he is who I think sorry, mate, this is a pure tangent, right? Sorry to interrupt you for this because it's probably a lot of nonsense. But there's a guy at Racing called Dario Chivant. I can't even say his name. Cvitanich, right? And I'm pretty sure I used to buy this guy. He's 36 at the moment, quite possibly is this guy. I'm pretty sure I used to buy this guy all the time in like Football Manager, like a lifetime ago. If it is him, I might buy him because that's quite cool.
In the bundle.
He's in a bundle now, yeah, super rare. I was wanting super rare of him, but I recognize that name. I'm thinking, is that guy? So he used to be a crazy Argentinian, not crazy, but a weird name like that. CV is a weird. Miami 2, Pachuca, Nice, Boca Juniors. Yeah, maybe. I think it might be that guy, by the way. I was at Ajax. Yeah, I think it is him. That's quite cool. Sorry to interrupt you there, mate.
Yeah, not at all.
A Football Manager guy, mate. He's not. I'd be surprised if he's won anything. But at Ajax between 2008 and 2009, and at Banfield before that. Yeah, I think that's the guy. Sorry, I just caught my eye. I'll probably cut this wee bit out, mate. Sorry, it's just me getting distracted by shiny things on the market.
I do the same though. You see somebody who they've got no use to you, but they were a Football Manager player that you liked in the past, and like, should I buy them? Half the time I don't, but yeah, there's a whole bunch that I end up getting attracted to. Shiny things, as you said. It's like totally. I bought just a random player because and his SO5 scores are horrific. He's not played in the last 5. If you look at his all-time scores on SoRare Data, he's not played at all. But Griezmann bought him, and then at auction, and then made a direct offer to somebody for his 1 out of 10.
Nice.
So I thought, there must be a reason for that. Or he's just got a lot of money because he's a footballer and he's bored one night and he decided to have a play about. So, yeah, you never know. You never know. But yeah, I make some random purchases.
I'm trying to track down who this is now. I'm looking at Griezmann's account. Some shitey guy. Oh, Soto, is it?
Yeah.
It's a weird one. 26, doesn't play. He's got some picture. Wow. Looks like that's been taken in a back alley.
There's something we're missing here about him, but yeah, maybe he's got a future move to Barca or something. I doubt
scandalous. It'd be scandalous if it was, but Griezmann getting caught revealing the transfer policy.
That's it.
The other thing I thought I would want to get your thoughts on, Hybe, right, is the new scarcity is kind of looming, I think, at this point, the Academy League, etc. Probably quite a safe assumption you're not going to make surgery to your club or your gallery to facilitate, being able to get involved in this. I imagine you'll probably pick up some new scarcity cards. What I wanted to ask you, right, is how likely do you think this is to happen, right? They were saying before, if you go into D3, you cannot do Academy. I think, hoping or guessing or whatever, and I've done this chat with Ross, that will be a weekly occurrence. That decision is made almost. It's not like it's going to be like a tattoo on your account that says, "Oh, you compete at D3. You can't do this Academy League." So, for example, I might go D3s and D2s galore at the weekend, and in midweek I might not have that much on. I might then have the ability, potentially, who knows, to do Academy League and do the new scarcity and just operate that level with midweek. There's not many games on. I'll just do that, build a wee bit of progress, wait for the weekend to come and hit the big leagues. Do you think that could be a kind of duality that we might have strategy-wise, that people might operate almost a double life?
I think that flexibility would be good so that you can build up. So I think it was a little bit vague around the length of the progress bar and how long you would have to fill that. So would it have a time limit, or could you essentially, like somebody filling it up really fast, they could maybe do so in a month or two and get that top reward that you can get in there, and somebody filling it up over a couple of years, taking it easier, doing what you're saying there, also competing in Division 3 and Division 4 most of the time, but when you can't, being able to compete in that and build up your progress bar. I think you need that flexibility, whether or not they do. I've not seen any details, so it's hard to see exactly what this looks like, but hopefully we can get that point across and feed that in so that it can be considered, because yeah, you want people to be able to flex and to be able to move up. So you don't want to have a decision where you have to say, okay, I'm not quite ready to move up to Division 4 every week, so it's best for me just to stay down here, because there'll be some weeks where that person is able to move up and you want them to be able to compete and to progress, and they do well there, they're going to continue to want to compete and progress, but then a couple of weeks they might not have the cards. So yeah, you still want that person to be able to get involved in the game. So yeah, for sure, it has to be as accessible as possible. I don't think it's a case of you enter Division 4 and Division 3 and that's you out of it forever.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It was just something that kind of fell out my mouth the other day, and I thought, I wonder actually how likely other people think this might be to happen. Because I just can't imagine how they would like tattoo your account to say that you can't do this. I know they do it with the Rookie League, but they do it with the Rookie League because that's time. That's kind of like a time lock, isn't it? You know, you've only got 8 weeks and then boom, it gets locked out. Whereas with the D1 lockout that I've got, it's only locked out because of the uniques, you know. But as soon as I buy the uniques, boom, it'll open. So that kind of locking system that it has with D1 is obviously a temporary thing. You know, it's something that it recognizes the account is doing or has not done. So maybe I say if the lock on the Academy League comes from the D3 entry, then I'm hopeful that that flexibility will be built into however they've made the system already. But again, it's just an interesting idea, because sometimes people just don't explore this stuff, and then you'll be surprised by it when it happens. But the people that always do best on any strategic movements is by trying to devise a strategy before other people do, or trying to, see potential openings before they open,
And that was just what's going to happen.
Yeah. Which again was why I'm loving super rares now, and everything is. Do you think you personally? Do you think you'll buy much of the new scarcity?
So I was just going to ask you the same thing. So obviously you're buying the super rares and moving up, and I think for me it depends on a few things. It depends on what it looks like and what this whole structure does personally. So this is for me is for bringing more people into the game and making it more accessible. I've been lucky enough that I got on at a stage where I was able to build up a good collection of rares and a decent amount of super rares that I'm now able to compete in Division 4 and Division 3. I want to compete more in Division 2 and hopefully eventually in Division 1, but we'll see whether I can actually reach that. I see those divisions being stretched more, and there being more, if there is this additional scarcity, being the ability to maybe put in 3 of those and 2 rares and build your way up that way before Division 4. So they're not. I think there will be, a value for me in doing so, in owning some of these and being able to compete there, because it will potentially give me more utility for my rare cards. But it will all depend on how that sits alongside the progress bar, whether or not I'm able to compete with these lower scarcity cards and still compete in Division 3. So it really depends. I'm not going to buy something that I'm not able to really utilise because I'm competing at a higher level. But what I would like to see, I'd love to be able to buy a full Bayern team, a full Atletico team, a full Liverpool team. So if the price point's at the right price, from a collector's standpoint, I'd probably want to get involved in that lower scarcity, maybe from a pure fantasy football perspective as well, having the ability to buy larger collections and full galleries of certain clubs and be able to compete in a more traditional fantasy football setting at that lower price point as well, while the rare plus space exists as it does today. So it's not traditional fantasy football. It is a card collecting game that has fantasy football aligned to it. So you need to, like other traditional card collecting games, you have to own the pieces to be able to compete correctly, like Magic the Gathering, like Pokemon, whatever these card game top trumps, whatever they are, you have to own certain pieces to be able to compete. So I'd like that element to stay, but can this lore element allow both the collectability aspect for somebody like me and also the ability to progress for someone new coming into the game to be able to, first of all, come and compete in a Division 6, for example, with all 5 commons, then eventually build up a couple of rares to compete in a Division 5 where they can put in 3 or 4 commons and then 1 or 2 rares, and then eventually make that transition into Division 4. And I think if you get the prize structure right for those divisions and give enough Tier 2 and Tier 3 rare prizes out to those competing with commons and a hybrid common rare amount, it gives that progression model. It allows somebody like me with a larger collection to maybe also compete there. So have 3 Bayern players and 2 of my rares in Division 5. I know some people won't like that because that's larger accounts than getting to compete in more and more divisions. But I want people to be able to compete in as many divisions as possible. I don't want restrictions. I don't want a case where you can. I've seen suggestions where, there's maybe a suggestion of if you compete in Division 1 and 2, you can't compete in Division 3 and 4. These things for me are absolute no-goes. That they just stifle any development of individuals within the platform. They may be good for different, like for overall pockets of the market, but there's people in the middle there. There's people like me, like you, who want to compete across them. One week you might want or might have a Division 1 lineup. One week you might have a Division 2 lineup. You want to be able to put that in when you can, but also have your Division 4 lineup because that's your bread and butter. And so there's going to be lots of different ways of playing this. And I think giving people as many options as possible, but ensuring that there's fairness throughout there and a real ability to compete at all levels is key. But it takes time to do that. You need to flesh out these divisions. You need to have the users to be able to buy up the cards to fill those divisions. And it all just takes time, doesn't it? It can't all come at once. But yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
Because like I make it like, first of all, would I buy the new scarcity? I think on paper I would love to. Practicalities of it, I don't know if I will because one of the things that came out with the info they've gave us thus far about it is that the suggestion of a different auction system for them to try and make it a bit kind of fairer for people with a smaller pocket so that they don't release this new scarcity. And again, just the big market maker accounts, the guys that just will swallow up the first batch of them at any cost, that they don't get the opportunity to do that. And it will, that was one of the suggestions. There was something that was said and something that was released has left that impression in my mind. I can't remember exactly verbatim what was said.
Yeah, I like that. I think because no matter what, you're going to. So if an Mbappe in this newer scarcity can be used to a good effect in the new divisions that will have to come with it and earn decent rewards, then that price is going to go high like the rares do. It's not going to go to the same level, but it's going to set that step below it, and we're just going to see the same thing over again. People get priced out of these lower powered cards. There will come a point where those at a higher budget just decide against them because the return on them is not good enough. But I think some kind of price fixing for them would be fantastic. So the ability to come in and, I don't know, buy a set amount of these for a set price.
It's hard to know exactly what they'll do. But
It's really difficult, isn't it?
I think because Gary Vee had spoke about it with his NFT and Football Index had spoke about it with their IPOs. But again, the thing that hit my mind when I read whoever it was I'm referencing was like Dutch auction maybe style. But I've got no idea. Number one, really how they work, and number two, how they would actually implement that on site. Because by all accounts, it's like a kind of blind situation where you just kind of say, I would pay this, and this guy says he would pay that, and this guy says he'd pay that, and then it's just, you've won it, there you go, here's your money. You know, I think that's kind of how it works. No one knows who's bid what and to what amounts.
Yeah, I think they get quite messy, don't they? And you had that on Footstock, didn't you? You had, I think, wasn't it the European champion cards?
Yeah, I think they did that with European. I was kind of off Footstock by then, to be honest with you, but I think they did.
So was I, but yeah, it was. So there was completely different pricing going for different players. So one day the price of a player could be X, the next day it could be X, like you have in NBA Top Shot are the right situation. So you could buy a European champion rookie pack or a European challenger rookie pack, and that gets you a guaranteed keeper, and those are a set price. So that's £50 or €50 or whatever, and that'll get you a keeper, and maybe and there'll be percentage chances of getting a star player in there, and a percentage chance of getting commons and tier 3s or whatever. It's there's so many ways to do it. I don't.
It's all over my head in terms of the logistics and the ramifications of it all. I'm quite certain, and I may be out of turn when I say this, right? But the whole packs, I've heard this discussed and seen it in threads and whatever. I think with the packs, and I don't know where I've got this in my head from, right? But if they did do the packs, I think the division itself couldn't have any kind of monetary payout, because I think that's then you potentially fall into trouble with different regulations and restrictions that SoRare are not really interfering with at the moment, and I think that might cross a boundary for them if it's random RNG packs and then those items can be used for monetary gain in a competition. I think that may become a bit sticky. Maybe I don't know anywhere near any laws or rules about it, but something tells me if it did go through an RNG pack system, because NBA Top Shot, and again I'm very much a novice on this IB, but there's not really a game for that as such, is there? It's one of these things where there's kind of half a game. Yeah,
I think you're right. That's probably where there would be some complications, and it becomes a different game, and then other legal challenges. So probably not the right way with packs. Top Shot, you're right. There isn't a game. You're just literally buying packs as a collectible at this stage. Whether or not they develop something further, but yeah, it's definitely it brings a different element, and it's not necessarily what I think we want to see in SoRare. I think the auction system is good, rather than just this mass craziness trying to buy something just because it's popular or you think other people are wanting to buy it. The auction system, you need to decide you want to buy that player. You need to put your money where your mouth is and think, right, okay, yeah, I'm going to spend X on a player. So how do you do that how do you cap a new scarcity of the? I don't know about you. It's something I enjoy most about the plan. It is definitely. So, if I just had all these cards, it wouldn't necessarily be the same.
No, I'm with you, man. So, I think the new scarcity has to be green. I think we're agreed on that, aren't we?
I don't know.
I think it has to be green, the new scarcity. It's the only way they're going to get Betis cards, you know.
I don't want Betis cards. I've got Pedraza.
As long as the new scarcity is green, I think I'll be quite happy. I don't really know, like I was saying to you at a moment, I don't know how much of it I will actually buy. There will be some cards, like I think I'll need a Jordan Larson. I think I'll need this guy and that guy, just some guys that, like Nakamura, if I could, whatever. Some of those guys I'll just buy and put. I bought Tevez, right? I bought Tevez this week. I don't know if you'd have caught this.
Before the move.
Well, I seen a tweet saying he might move out of Boca. He's going to be cancelling, and I thought there was only 16 of him. And my main thing was, he's going to go out of print. That's the main motivation to buy him. Even if he went to Singapore, I wouldn't get SO5 scores or whatever. It wouldn't bother me. And I got him for 0.05. And then the next day, retirement announced. So I got the last ever Tevez. I think there's a wee bit of value in that. Maybe. Nice. The cards like that, like a Tevez or a Robin, these Falco, these types of guys, I'd maybe pick some of them up and just throw them with the rest.
They're just a sort of nice to have for you. You don't need them for your SO5 teams. They're just, you fancy having it, and it's quite nice to be able to have that. You've obviously got all your collectibles in the background, and you've got probably loads more out of sight. Like, it's a big part of it, isn't it? Like having these things that you want to own.
I'm always about like trying to get stuff that I like. Like if I'm surrounded in this room by toys, as I've probably told you before, right? And I don't see if the stuff I do collect, I don't buy every one. I buy almost every one. But there is ones where I'm like, I am not spending money on that because I do not like that character, or that is a shit whatever the situation is. I won't just buy everything. Some people, one of my best friends who also does all this shit with me, he is a completionist, as we call it, and he will buy everything that comes out, regardless of quality or anything. And there's people like that. I'm probably like a step down from that, where like, I would like everything, but I'm not going to do that blindly. I'm not going to run off the cliff with it. Like if it's something that's 80 quid, that I would much rather not spend 80 quid on that because I don't like him, I don't like the way it looks, or then I'm not going to do it. But with the collection stuff, so I'm always quite happy to buy things that I like, regardless in context of price, as long as I might never play them. Like the Nakamura, I heard your podcast, you were talking about mint cards. This was an old episode, and I thought I'm going to do that with my Nakamura, because I didn't put him in training just because of priorities. He was low, he was the bottom priority for training. And then I heard that on your podcast, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do the same with the Tevez. I'm just never going to put them in training like deliberately now, because I quite like that idea.
It's the only one I've ever done it with, is Miura. It's the only player. And sometimes I struggle. I need an extra striker for a training team, and I'm like, no,
Commons?
stick by it. Yeah, I use them, obviously, but once I've run through them, I get like 85 training teams in a week.
What?
I have too many midfielders and defenders. I do need to cull a few, but when the time's right, I don't need to move them on right now, and it's good to have options.
85 training teams, mate. That makes me want to wait.
You keep most of them in, and then just adjust a few of them that you've moved players in and out. Yeah, exactly. So there's players there that, and that will pay dividends in a year or two's time when these rares are at 20%.
Do you know McBride's does his training every week?
I know. I don't get that. It's crazy. He's got the same.
He said on your podcast, didn't he? That's where I got that from.
He's got more cards than me, and so he's got like 80 odd teams. It must be, and that's just. He says it takes him an hour. It takes me an hour to edit the 6. I don't know what he's up to.